What's cooking, ghoul looking? Welcome back to the Ghost Gals. My name is Renee, and this is
Dusti.
And tonight we are going to bring you some very creepy stuff, creepy things, creepy happenings that happen. Right? We have lots of spooky stuff for you, including some really interesting haunted happenings that we're going to dive into here in a second. But before we do that, please be sure to hit that notifications bell. Like us on Facebook, both on the Ghost Gals, and go ahead and go over to our tour company, the Ghostly Encounter. We do tours with Diane Lane in St. Augustine. So if you want to come and see us, especially with Memorial Day weekend coming up, if you're looking for a place to kind of finally get out of the house, come to St. Augustine, hang out with the Ghost Gals. We have other great tour guides that work with us at a Ghostly Encounter, including Jan, who runs the Ancient City Tours page, and she does a great vlog with Toby the Dinosaur. So if you have young kids and you guys are looking for something historical and an educational tool, please jump over and look at Jan's post on the Ancient City Tours Facebook page, and we'll link both of those for you guys to check out, both AGE, which y'all know from AGE Live, and Ancient City Tours. We do have our website, which is www. Was that 3 W's?
Yep, you got it. You did it!
Nice. I win a prize. www.theghostgalshow.wixsite.com/website. I actually said it wrong on the last video we did, so you have to add that /website or it doesn't pop up. And we have a blog that we're running on there. Basically, just like I run into strange people. Oh, no, that sounds bad. Not like. But I run into some interesting people with some strange encounters, and I usually will write it down so I can blog about it. So if you're ever on my tour with AGE, go ahead and tell me about your creepy, spooky, or just strange experience so that I can write a story about you. It's not really a story.
The happenings that happened.
Your creepy happenings that happened. Welcome to the Haunted Happenings. My ding was a little flat, but it's okay. So let me take you to haunted happening number 1. And this is from Jordan Halley. I hope I'm saying her last name right. She said on a forum that I am part of, just wanted to share this video in a place where I felt it would be appreciated. This happened in a house I was renting about 2.5 years ago. The fridge door was closed all the way. I still have the same fridge, and this never happened ever again. My boyfriend and I had just spent over $200 in groceries the same day. We weren't home when this happened. I see a small dot of light fly across the room at the same time the fridge opens. It might be nothing, but I thought it was pretty cool. There were a few more things that happened in the house. I don't have many videos of that, unfortunately. The only other one I have is of an orb, which I always thought orbs were spirits, but honestly, I have no idea. And so this is the clip that Jordan posted on the forum I'm a part of, and it's very interesting. It's super cool. Take a look. So, moving on to haunted happening number 2. This is from Paige Kennedy. My stepdad, whom I loved very much. Sorry, I don't know why I made that so serious. My stepdad, whom I love very much, traveled the whole wide world. When he was on his deathbed, he told me that if I took his passport with me wherever I traveled, he would meet me there. 2 months after he died, I went to Spain and I took his passport with me. I went to a bar the first night and I was there. I went to a bar the first night I was there, and there was a song playing on the jukebox, which we had played at his funeral. I don't know if it was a coincidence or not, or if he was letting me know that he had traveled with me.
Aw, that's a nice story.
It is. It's kind of sad, though. This next one is my own personal haunted happening, which is why before, when Dusty, you were like, that place looks like the place we went in New Jersey. I was like, it is. Moving on to haunted happenings number 3. The ghost town of Walpack, New Jersey. So, I grew up in New Jersey. No, I didn't. I grew up in New Jersey, and we lived in, the northern part, which was, So, this is the ghost town of Walpack, New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey, as you all know, and we lived in, the northern part. So, Dusty, you've actually visited where I grew up for the most part. It's
It
like
was
really nice.
it was
So
very nice. No, it was great. It was real nice.
it's in the mountains. It's way up in the mountains. So you have like a view of like the forested mountains. It's not so much like a rocky terrain. It's very forest. So we're up in the mountains, and it's a really great place to like spend the summer. So the winters are brutal. They're terrible. That's why I live in Florida now. But the summers are really pretty nice. I mean, because you're in the forest terrain, it's about 75 to 85 degrees at the hottest in the summer. And we like to hike and kind of explore and adventure because we can be out of our houses at that time. So in 2014, me and a guy friend, it was complicated. So yeah, me and a guy friend went hiking in an abandoned town. It was called Walpack, and it was about 30 or so minutes from my house. There's a really great restaurant over there too. It's called the Walpack Inn. Dusty, we went there and we had martinis. Do you remember that?
Oh my god, yeah. And then you wanted asparagus. So you yeah.
Yes, I drank the extra martini and then I cried because I looked like Danny DeVito.
Cried so hard on the way home.
So anyway, we are going hiking in Walpack. It's an abandoned town, 35 minutes or so from my house. And I had never been. Like, my guy friend, he was like, oh, this is a great place. This is a great place to hike and, like, visit. So we get there, and the first thing when you get there, there's, like, an old cemetery. It's like a Civil War cemetery. And it's really cool to, like, walk around and look at. And right next to it, if you drive, like, 5 minutes up the road, is, like, an old water mill. It's like a big old lake that's over there. It's the Walpack Lake. I think it actually connects to Lake Apacon. And once you get past the waterfall that's in this little like lake area, it's not a giant waterfall from my understanding. It's one that's actually just like built into the mountain from the snow that has melted. There's this abandoned town. It's the abandoned town center. And it's just sitting there like frozen in time. So there's a lot of history connected to it. Apparently, it turns out in 1976, the federal government wanted to build a man-made lake that would connect to a dam that connected to the Delaware water gap. So basically, they were trying to make like an overflow lake connecting to the Delaware water gap. And they forced people out of their houses. They paid people off, and those that they didn't pay off, they basically said, we're not giving you a choice. We're going to build the lake right next to your house then. We're going to build it literally up to the property line, and you're just going to have overflow, and your house will be flooded. So either move or we're going to flood your house. Which would you prefer?
Flood my house.
Flood it. I'm there with the guy friend. We're taking photos. We're walking around. It's great. We're having fun. It's spooky. You would like look into people's houses and see like it looked like you were looking into the 1970s. It's super weird. There's only 8 people that live in the town today. And I think it's literally like the post lady. It's like one of them is the post lady, and then there's like a family of, I want to say 4 or 5, and then there's like a couple or something like that, and they live in the area. That's about it. There's a church there that's from the 1880s, and it had apparently been burnt. Like, I don't want to say it was burnt to the ground, but it had damage from burns. Burning damage? Yeah, whatever. It had fire damage. And I was just taking pictures. I don't want to be like, oh, I didn't believe in ghosts, because I had some, like, ghostly things happen to me. Ghostly encounters, if you will. I had some ghostly things. Oh, I did the thing. I did the thing. I had some ghostly things happen to me, and I always just kind of like, nah, cool, but I'm not like a solid believer. And so I was snapping photos just of like the historic town, and that is when I caught these photos. So this is the first photo, and it is simply just like the outside of the church. This is the original photo that I took. But when we zoomed in later into the window on the side, you can see there is a girl staring out the window. There's like a cutout in the curtain and a girl standing there looking at us. And my mom, actually, I went to show my mom the pictures I had taken at Walpack because we were thinking about going there to just, me and her and my dad and whatnot. And she's the one that was like, ooh, you got somebody that wanted to stick around in the church on your photo. So I rushed over, I looked at it, it was like a digital camera. And yeah, that's the photos that we caught. So pretty cool if you ask me. Now, Dusty, that was it for my haunted happenings. Do you have any input on anything? Anything you need to say? Let the people know.
No.
Okay. Great. Well, we're going to move on into our story for tonight. So we are doing our videos a little differently so that they're more accessible and easier to watch. Now, we like doing the stories and we like talking. Me and Dusty are friends in real life. We were friends before we started working with A Ghostly Encounter. We went to college together. Remember
She
that one
hated
time
me
you
at
told
first.
that? I did hate you. So we're doing our videos a little differently. We are going to be doing one story per video just because I feel like our videos have been getting super long and we don't want you guys to feel like we're throwing a lot of information. We want to be able to sit here and talk about these stories and give you some extra details that maybe we wouldn't be able to give you in the live streams that we were doing on AGE or even just our first episode we did. We talked a lot. No, but we do want to make the videos more time manageable and time accessible to the audience.
For those with the shorter attention spans.
Well, I don't. So we want to make the videos more time accessible. We want to make them so that you don't have to dedicate 50 minutes of your life at one time to watch our videos. And we do want to have more time to discuss intimate details of each case that we're presenting to you. So yeah, it's going to make for much more content like we were talking about in our big announcement video. And it's going to make for just some really great evidence presented. Maybe we can introduce more photos, more EVPs, more paranormal evidence. Whatever you guys want, please let us know in the comments down below. Yeah, that'd be great. We're going to move into our first story of the night. Dusty, please tell the good people what we're going to talk about.
The Exorcist.
I think of green pea soup immediately.
Ew. I don't want to think of that.
At least she didn't pull an Annalise Michelle.
Right? Actually, it wasn't a girl. This is a story that inspired The Exorcist. It was 1949, Maryland. So it's, a small town in Maryland. And the pseudonym that was given to this boy is Roland Doe. So we're going to call him Roland throughout. But
okay. I think I know his real name. Did they tell you his real name when you were doing research?
They think it's Ronald Hunkler.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because Ronald is an anagram for Roland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they do think it's Ronald Hunkler, but just for the sake of maybe, I'm going to call him Roland throughout the...
For sure, because we don't want to offend Ronald Hunkler.
He was really close to his aunt. And she was a bit of a spiritualist, and she taught him a lot of things, including how to use a Ouija board, right? You knew that, didn't you? Well, she ended up dying. She died in 1949, of course, maybe 14.
Oh, God, that jumped to conclusions really quick. Yeah, she taught him about Ouija board, taught him everything he knew.
And then she died.
Deep, dark stuff. And then she died.
Which leads us back to rule number 1. Don't play with Ouija boards. I guess that could be like rule 0.5. It comes before. I was
going to say rule number 1B.
Rule number 1A, don't die.
Yes.
Rule number 1B, don't play with Ouija boards.
They're connected.
Sometimes. Don't do it. Yeah, anyway, she died. He was completely distraught. He loved this woman. So some people theorize that he used a Ouija board. He used the Ouija board to try to contact her after she died. However, he contacted something else on accident, which is typically what happens, which is why we don't play with Ouija boards.
Yep.
Anyway.
I get it. You don't do that.
So, yeah, he contacted something demonic. And following this, a lot of strange things started happening. So they would hear noises, strange noises, like scratching from the floors and the walls, water dripping noises and water dripping from pipes and walls. Objects began levitating and moving across the room. A Bible lifted off of the bookcase and fell at Roland's feet, apparently. That should be like sign number 1.
He's 14,
Jesus.
Right?
Yes, he's 14, yeah. A large chair that he was sitting in apparently rose up and flipped over while he was sitting in it. And why are you laughing?
Because, you use a Ouija board. I'm not trying to be like, oh, you're, getting punked by a ghost now. Can can you imagine just like sitting there like being like, all right, no ghosts around. I'm just trying to enjoy my dinner, and all of a sudden your chair literally like you get flipped. I know. See, I'm imagining him not going to the side. I'm imagining him going like straight back. Like he's just trying to like eat like his vegetables, and he just goes like legs up in the air. Like,
okay,
curses!
So this happened twice, kind of. The first one flipped over and dumped him out, but apparently a separate occasion, it was a rocking chair he was sitting in, and it just started spinning. A photo of Jesus that they had hanging on the wall started moving and then banging against, like slamming against the wall. And they would hear just heavy furniture moving at night, Roland screaming obscenities in his sleep. Why are you laughing now?
This ghost just loves furniture. What if he's like a Joanne Gaines ghost? He's like, oh no, this rocking chair, honey, I just want to throw you out of it for even buying it. He just like flips him.
Roland is screaming obscenities in his sleep. It's just, you know, one strange thing after another. But only when Roland was nearby did things happen. So Roland
It's him.
There was scratches and marks appearing all over his body. Like, so he started to get scratched and marked and, you know, bleeding and whatever. So his family consulted doctors and psychiatrists and even a local minister who suggested that they seek the Jesuits, which is apparently the answer for everybody that's possessed by a demon. What's up?
You were like, they had to seek out the Jesuits. All right, they had to seek out the Jesuits, and what happens next? Tell me.
Well, if you remember Annalise Michel, they told her to seek a Jesuit also. That was there. You know what? You need a Jesuit. I can't help you.
Literally,
for those of you that don't know what Jesuits are, I'm pretty sure it's like an order that was formed by Roman Catholic priests in like 1534 to do missionary work.
Yeah.
To sum it up, so they were told to seek out the Jesuits. If you are haunted by a demon, if you're possessed by a demon, just get a Jesuit. Done. So the family sought out Father E. Albert Hughes, and he gave them some blessed items such as like candles and holy water, right? And, you know, but apparently the mother called him later, claiming the vial of holy water just shattered into a million pieces, just with sheer force. Nothing touched it; it just shattered. And the flames of these blessed candles, these blessed candles, shot up like to the ceiling. So the demon didn't like that.
Apparently not.
Father Hughes, he made a house call. You know what? Maybe I should come check it out. Made a house call, and apparently this is when Roland decides to show off his Latin skills. "Oh, priest of Christ, you know I am the devil. Why do you keep bothering me?"
What?
In Latin, though. Everything sounds better in Latin, right?
I mean, were his parents like, no, he's never spoken Latin? Were they all confused as to why this boy was telling a priest in Latin that he was Satan himself reincarnated? Is there a reason? Like, was there any concern behind this? Or were they like, oh yeah, that's just Roland. He occasionally will go off and tell you he's the devil. Don't worry about it. Like, what came of this?
Nope.
Nothing good. No?
Nope. And, you know, this boy did not know Latin. The family was shocked. Everybody was a little surprised that he just started, like, telling this guy off in Latin.
It reminds me of the case with Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, where the little boy, I forget what the little boy's name was in that case, but he started reciting Paradise Lost, which was written in, like, the 1500s, and it was written in Latin, and he was speaking it in Latin to them, and the priest was like, yo, this boy's, he's spitting some rhymes, that's Paradise Lost.
Alright, stop it.
The family was like, what's Paradise Lost? I mean, you can go back and watch that live stream if you want, but
we'll recap it for you later.
Yeah, we'll recap it for you. We'll recap it. So he's speaking Latin, the priest is like, oh, he's telling me he's Satan, and what happens? What happens next?
Yeah. Well, okay, so in late February, Father Hughes reached out to the Archbishop who authorized him to go ahead and perform an exorcism. Because if you guys also didn't know, exorcism require a lot of permission from, like, the Vatican. You can't just go
Official
do an
exorcisms.
Yeah, you can't really just go do an exorcism. But he got permission, and Hughes suggested that they send him to Georgetown University Hospital to perform these. So they transfer him there. Apparently, on the way, in the car, Roland tried to like swerve the car off the road to he just like grabs the wheel. And so it was in Georgetown University Hospital that Father Hughes began his rite. His rite was not able to be finished, however, because Roland became free of one of his bindings, ripped a loose spring from the mattress, and slashed the priest across the shoulders.
Oh!
So that kind of stopped there. That didn't finish. Later, words began to appear in the scratches on Roland's body. They're seeing words in the scratches now. The first word that popped up was Louis, or Louis if you're that person, but Louis for the sake of this. And the family thought maybe it was a sign because they had family in St. Louis. So they're like, maybe we should go back. So they do. They go back to their family in St. Louis. Which is where they carry out the rest of these trials and sessions. Well, when they were there, they got in touch with Reverends Walter H. Halloran and William Bowdern. Yeah, Bowdern. In March, they attempted another exorcism of Roland's demons. They witnessed the bed violently shaking and scratches still appearing all over his body. He would seem to seize during these sessions, and one time even broke Reverend Halloran's nose.
Oh, it took poor Reverend Holland. Was that the same one that got slashed?
No, different one.
Oh, God. Different. It's like, I would have quit after that.
4 men to hold this 14-year-old boy down.
Wow.
They say that in his sleep, he would sometimes sing Old Man River and Swanee in high pitch and tremendous volumes while he's sleeping. So, also, when Roland was lucid, he claimed that he saw himself fighting a huge red demon that felt slimy and was very powerful.
Oh, God.
Who was also trying to prevent him from escaping a fiery pit.
Oh.
These are the visions he saw when he was in his seizing fits, I guess. The priests, they all noticed a pattern with Roland. So during the day, he seemed like a normal lucid boy. He was totally fine. But at night, he fell into wild outbursts and screaming fits. And he would also fall into a trance-like state, making weird sounds in a low, guttural voice. He's got quite the range.
Yes, I was going to say he's got a very vast range. You should have auditioned for like X Factor or something.
He reacted violently when he saw any sacred objects, any kind of religious relics. At one point,
similar to Annalise Michel.
Yeah, there are actually a lot of similarities. I guess demons are all kind of the same when they put,
Did they say that Roland had epilepsy? Because that's what they said about poor Annalise Michel.
He had seizures. Nobody straightforwardly accused him of epilepsy. Like, they were quick on the draw with a demonic possession. But he did actually seize during these exorcisms. Actually, I think I'm going to get to that in a minute. But at one point, the priest saw an X form into his chest, which, in like the scratches, it was an X. So they took this as, think, Roman numeral 10. And they were like, oh, I think he's being possessed by 10 demons. That's how they took it. So this guy's got 10 demons now, which I don't think is about the same as Annalise, right? Well, he had red lines, like scratches that snaked down his side to his ankle, and just things like this happened every night for about a month. Now, late March, Roland urinates all over his bed and once again begins shouting and cursing at the priests. These priests took a lot of abuse.
Apparently.
But they decided to take him to the Alexian Brothers Hospital, I think is what it is, in St. Louis for treatment. And on April 18th, Roland awoke with seizures. This was seizures. See, he woke with seizures and yelled, saying that Satan would always be with him. The priests have had enough. They laid holy relics on the boy. They had crucifixes, medals, rosaries, laid them on the boy, and they started battle. They began shouting at the devil and calling on St. Michael to expel Satan from this 14-year-old boy. 7 minutes later, Roland came out of his trance and he said, he's gone. That's all he said. He claims that he actually had a vision that St. Michael defeated Satan on this grand battlefield. It's done. Just like that. 7 minutes. 7 minutes. That's really short in comparison to...
I feel like that would have been helpful had they done that whole thing at the beginning of this.
And maybe it was just the battle that weakened it, got it made it tired. Maybe it was the long haul. Actually, this is a really, it's not like a good demonic possession. There are no good demonic possessions. But given how your story on Annalise Michelle went, this one's like a walk in the park.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, since this day, these no more demonic occurrences have happened to Roland Doe. Nothing. He actually, it's said that he carried on to live a normal life. He got married, named his first kid Michael after the saint that saved his soul. The exorcism ended up making the front page on the Washington Post. Right?
I can imagine.
Yep. Front page. Otherwise, nobody probably would have known about it. But, yeah, so then you have 1971, William Peter Blatty wrote The Exorcist based on the unofficial diaries of the priests. Movie came out in 1973. Of course, the movie took some liberties, I don't think his head ever spun around 360 degrees or anything. I'm sorry, your pea soup never happened.
Sad.
Yeah. Anyway, Bowdern died in 1983, but Halloran, died in 2005 of cancer. And I think he actually spoke about all of these occurrences later on in the future another guy made another book, Possessed, the true story of an exorcism, 1993. Yeah. He spoke for that. But he died in 2005. And it's funny, the room in the Alexian Brothers Hospital, that same room, as soon as the whole ordeal was done, they boarded it up and sealed it.
Wow. Has anybody gone in there since?
I don't think so. The facility was actually torn down in 1978, so it's not there anymore.
Sounds like a job for the Ghost Gals. Coming up on the next episode. No, I'm kidding.
It's gone. It's like an empty, I don't know what's there now, but the building is gone. The family moved back to the East Coast. No priest died in the exorcism of Roland Doe. A few of them may have had their noses broken, but no one died.
Been slashed.
We got the idea. But no one died. Nobody died. So, yeah, I would say this was quite a sunny story compared to Annalise Michelle.
Yeah, it has a nice ending. With all these exorcisms, you look at a couple of them that have been done, usually the people involved with these demonic cases die, which is why it's not worth using a Ouija board incorrectly. Again, if you know what you're doing, whatever, do what you know what you're doing. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it to your friends and family so that they can stalk us. And for Memorial Day weekend, we are going to be out doing tours of the Ghostly Encounter. You can go over to their website, book tickets, come see me and Dusty and the other guides of the Ghostly Encounter. Be sure to check out Jan's page on the Ancient City site. And subscribe to our YouTube, visit our website. I don't know what this accent is. Do all that. Thanks and goodbye.
Have a good night.